Government banned 27 social media apps yesterday. And of course, we know that started a riot. But think about this. If they could do that, and they did that, think about how many other governments see what just happened.
Man, what's good with the collective? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and 7-up. If you new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7. This is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate y'all, Collective. If you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is, I wish it was smooth 7. Might be a trigger warning or 2. I hope not. Also, there's a new feature out called Hype the Video. Well, called Hype. See, this is weird to even say. It's called Hype. I guess it's just as like liking the video, if not more. Make sure y'all go ahead and hype this up as well. I appreciate y'all again. But y'all know what it is, man. Let's get straight to the video, man. Let's go.
This celebrity was trying to expose what's really going on.
These are actually 2 deaths, and you might not know how they're related at first, but I'll explain to you why. Lisa Lopez died in 2003 in a car crash in Honduras. There was a documentary that came out on MTV called The Last Days of Left Eye. The documentary, they were saying how she was getting ready to prepare to die, like she knew she wasn't coming back. The reason why she was in Honduras was to talk to Dr. Sebi. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Sebi is a doctor who believes in natural cures for cancer, diabetes, and more. She was really close with him, and she wanted to come back and tell everybody about the cures that she knew. She kept saying she didn't think she was going to be coming back. As for Nipsey Hussle, in March of 2019, he was actually making a documentary on Dr. Sebi. He believed that Dr. Sebi because he was being silenced, and his words were that they can't kill us all. Before he was even able to finish the documentary, he didn't end up as well. People believe that they were both set up because they were trying to give out information that nobody wants them to know. I mean, there's no cure for right, and diabetes. The treatments are really profitable. It could be a coincidence or it could be what happened. Remember, these are just conspiracies. You do not have to agree, but follow for more and comment what you think.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
I remember Nip saying, if they come and get me, y'all better ride.
You're telling me that all of our textbooks in school were printed by a company that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad owned?
That shit way too much of a coincidence.
So let me get this straight. In this one single city, there's multiple reports or accounts of mutilated animal corpses found throughout the city that people believe are being used for rituals or sacrifices, in turn leading people to believe there's a presence of a satanic cult in the woods of the same city. And on top of all of that, there's multiple reports of Bigfoot that span nearly 70 years back. Yeah, let's just go.
I'm gonna take a wild guess, and I'm gonna say that that California city he's talking about is Humble. I think it's called, I can't say the word, but it starts with an M. M-U-R-D-E. Y'all go with the rest. Mountain. It's M-word, the N-word, mountain. I think that's what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm not. Let me know if I'm reaching, or correct me if I'm wrong, Collective. I think that is what he's talking about, but I could be wrong. It could be another place as well. Y'all let me know. Let me know what y'all feel.
I'm making this video to say I work with truckers, and apparently there's some type of technology. I don't know if it's new, I don't know if it's old, I don't know how long it's been around, but apparently there's some type of technology that allows them to see everything that you're doing in your car while you're driving, whether you're on the freeway or just passing them on the regular street. Like anytime you're next to a semi or like one of those type of trucks, like even like the head of the truck, because you know the trailer is not attached unless it's a straight truck. But basically what I'm trying to say is the truckers are not spying on you, but the government is. And like I said, I work with truckers, and I was talking to this one guy, and he was telling me about this technology, and he was like, yeah, I was passing by some girls on the freeway, and he was like, I looked over, and like I looked at my screen or whatever, and I could see that they were changing their clothes. And he was like, it was 2 girls, one in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat, and they were like full on changing their clothes, and he could see everything that they were doing. And he basically was just like, yeah, but it's not like truckers aren't spying on you, but the government is using that same technology. And since those trucks are up so high, they can easily pass right by you and look and see what you're doing. So just be careful when you're on the road. If you're doing something that you don't want to be seen, whether it's illegal activity or not, just be careful when you're passing by one of those type of trucks. Just make sure you cover up what it is that you're doing, because they have that technology and they can see everything that you're doing.
Have you ever heard the crazy conspiracy theory that celebrities and high-profile companies will try to manipulate the Google search engine to get rid of bad results about them? The pathological people pleaser Taylor Swift has been accused of doing this multiple times to save her reputation. Conspirators will say that Taylor Swift is only dating Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, who has a famous rivalry against the Jets and will go to the Jets games to get enough of a buzz and enough Google search results to bury all the Google results about her over using her Jets that got her in a lot of hot water last year for disproportionately making her contribute to climate change. This theory gets even deeper. The most insane example is that Disney purposely crafted their most popular movie franchise ever to be called Frozen. So now when you Google Disney Frozen, the only thing that comes up is Elsa and Anna instead of the most long-running insane Disney conspiracy theory that Walt Disney's head was cut off and cryogenically frozen and placed underneath Disney World. And it's actually crazy that it worked and they've successfully buried that search result. Before I say the last example, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about all your favorite celebrities and about the world, and request which one you want to see next. A huge rumor in this is that singers will make song titles off of what people commonly Google about them. Maybe they can't completely sway the results, but they can at least profit off of it. So when you Google Ariana Grande boyfriend, her song comes up instead of this and the whole world trying to tell her she's a homewrecker for her new boyfriend. There's so many more examples of this Google search concept that I would love to show you, so let me know if you're interested.
I heard Kanye said they did that with Black Panther.
Let me tell you something. The more you work on yourself, the harder it gets to be around people who refuse to. Because once you start healing, you stop laughing at toxic jokes. Once you set boundaries, you stop entertaining chaos. Once you taste peace, you won't settle for constant drama. And the truth is, people who aren't doing the work will notice. They'll call you distant. They'll call you cold. They'll say that you've changed. And they're right, you have. You're not supposed to stay the same just to make broken people comfortable. You're not supposed to shrink back down just because someone else is refusing to grow. So let them talk. Let them label you. Let them miss the old version of you, because the old version of you, that was survival. The new version of you, that's living. And if your growth makes it uncomfortable for them to sit next to you, then maybe that's the universe showing you who belongs in your next chapter.
Man, she need to continue to say this. We need those words.
This is the Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament here in Sacramento. Oh, look at this church with the dome. Construction started in 1887. And they knocked this thing out by 1889. No worries. Thing's a monster. There's a huge dome in the back, but there's a wedding service, so I don't want to impose. Are you kidding me? 2 years in the 1800s. No power tools. I want to see the inside, but there's a church service. Oh, this thing's a monster. This dome, which is right there, is 175 feet tall. Again, this whole building is like a whole corner block, and my God, it's just solid. No problem. Just a bunch of dudes with chisels and flip-flops knocking this bad boy out. What else do we have around here, Sacramento? Even on these side streets, because we have the church there, and then we have the Elks building past it on the corner. But then you have these like little rad little buildings, and they don't look like much, but they're old. That's old brick. And the details up top are insane. So here's another angle, but with the dome that gets eclipsed when you stand in front because it's so damn big. That's 176 feet tall. That's definitely a lot taller. I don't care what you say. That building is insane and enormous. And for late 1800s in America, I mean, dome in there. All right, let's go see another one.
That's a little bit of our city, because I know some people are part of the collective. I know some of the collective is from SAC too. Ain't no way in hell they started that in 1887 and they finished in 1889. If that's Tartarian, that's work of the Tartarian Empire. Come on, bro. We know this. We know this. That's just a little bit of what we got. And I already said we know these buildings is built on top. I told y'all downtown Sac is full of Tartarian work. Full of it. If you really know what to look for and you get to downtown Sac, any part of the world I feel like has it. I feel like all states have it, but I can speak directly about my city. And that work right there is done by Tartarian, bro. That was Tartaria, bro, who did that work. No other way around it. Y'all feel like that's a reach on me? And how y'all feel? Y'all like the way that look? That's just a little. We seen some of the crazy parts of the city. Now we get to see some of the positive sides.
Who remembers this building? Had 2 of my children here. Horrible experience. Think this is where the helicopter used to land. The old UMC hospital. Fresno, California.
Whatever that voice is trying to say something.
If you're from Fresno, you're gonna want to listen to this, so hold on. UMC Hospital originally was called Valley Medical Center. We talked about the UMC. It was abandoned in 2007 because there was a contract breach. The reason why it was abandoned was because a person named Steven Rapata was trying to sell the building to the city of Fresno, and the county of Fresno is suing the gentleman. He got arrested in 2014 because he tried to sign a contract. The building was already messed up. It was literally code violation for everything. The UMC hospital next to Roseville. And so he got arrested in 2014. Backtrack. Listen. So before Roseville High School was a school, it was actually a place for nuns. And then they turned it into a little facility as a hospital that was connected to the UMC hospital. That's why there's tunnels going from Roosevelt basement. If you guys ever been to Roosevelt, you would know. From Roosevelt basement, where the boiler room is at, is connected underground with the football and the baseball stadium in, leading into the morgue. Google it.
So I hear everybody saying, go to Crumbl Cookie page and look at their repost list. And what do? I look. So basically what they're saying is Crumbl Cookie doesn't support creators. The creators that post their products or use their products, that are this color right here, they don't support them. They don't put them on their page. So you know what I did? I said, let me go see. Because apparently, and y'all can see this, it's evident they don't mess with us like that. You create, you get millions of views, and you promoting shit, and people are going to spend money with them, and they not even showing you no love. And you spending money with them, and they not even showing you no love. They don't love you. They don't love you. But we love you. I love you. We love you. We got to stay together. We got to stick together. We got to put our own shit together. We got to promote our businesses, because they ain't going to promote our businesses. We can't get mad at them for not promoting our businesses. That's their shit. We ain't mad. Let's get on it. We lit.
Damn, I ain't heard about that.
I meant to make the video yesterday, but it ain't too late, man. What y'all heard about the shit in North Carolina, man? They said some shit landed yesterday. Seen everybody talking about it. Yeah, I seen it. I got videos and photos. Some shit just landed. We don't know what it was. There's some aliens, spaceship, God. They don't know who it was. So let me know what's going on out there. Y'all boys seen something? You got photos? Have you heard something today? The shit that landed, have it some shit up? Like, what's going on? Nobody said shit.
North Carolina, did or did y'all not see something?
Hey, good morning and breaking news. So I was going through my morning routine of reading certain news articles, to pass information along to you. And most of the time, my news is based around geopolitical news. This was a very strange article, and you guys know I do dip and dabble in other news stories as well, because it's not always just about Donald Trump and his administration. So this article is very interesting. If you live in the Las Vegas area, please listen to this. Mystery grows after dozens of piles of cremated human remains are found just outside of Las Vegas. About 70 piles of cremated human remains mysteriously appear side of a dirt road just found outside of Las Vegas, according to reports. The disturbing discovery was made on Monday near the rural community of Searchlight, located about an hour south of Las Vegas Valley, off the U.S. Route 95, Channel 8 News said. A source told the news station they stumbled upon the piles and provided a photo of the grisly scene. The Bureau of Land Management has since opened an investigation into the mysterious finding. Now, the reason why this is very odd, and this isn't like conspiracy talk over here or anything, but this is very consistent with somebody who is unresponsibly disposing of human remains. And having 72 different piles of ashes is insane. One person's body is not making 72 piles of ashes. And for somebody just to randomly see it, know what it is, take a picture of it and say it was a grisly scene, strange. So if you live in the Las Vegas area, I'm not trying to raise concern or raise a red flag. But we do know our cities and local police departments and stuff like that do try to not scare the public, and I'm not trying to scare the public. I'm not saying this is exactly truth. I'm just saying this is very consistent with somebody who would do something to somebody and then dispose of the body, thinking like, oh, ashes to the wind. So there's that.
I don't know. That's a lot of bodies, man.
The reason that they came to our schools and showed us exactly what every looks like, exactly how you use it, and exactly what kind of effects it will give you, and also made sure that we knew that the cool kids would be doing it. That's because they wanted us to do it so that they could profit off of our rehabilitation and or incarceration.
Essentially Los Angeles. And again, we have a history of a bone museum. That's how this whole exploration got started for me. And most of the island uninhabited, we have a history going back over 100 years of giants and their bones being discovered here. And now when you go to the museum, there's not a peep. They won't tell you about the past. But anyway, UAP was pointing at this mine right here and how somebody has done their best, pretty much erase whatever was here, and yet we can still see a lot. But if you look at it today, you really don't see much. I had to go back to 2009 to see anything decent, and I have no doubt there's still much to be discovered, at least all around it. It reminds me of Lynn Ottinger in Utah, who discovered giant bones in southern Utah around the Moab area, and this has all been swept under the rug. And today, where he discovered those bones, there's a giant open pit mine like this. And let me just show you present time. Let me go up here and kick this over 2023. So if anybody was half interested, they would quickly lose their interest at this whitewashed, pathetic image. Coincidence? Let's go back to different dates and show you a little better as you go further back. Here we are in 2015.
They covering shit up.
Now, I'm not gonna hold y'all, right? When they first came out and they said Pandora was demonic, of course, you feel me? I wasn't gonna believe it because I'm such a Pandora girl, right? But then I got an email today. And in the email, Pandora was showing, you know, the new charms and stuff that they got. So the new collection that Pandora has is talisman charms. Now, I don't know about y'all, right? But I'm a supernatural girl. Like, I love the originals, Vampire Diaries, all that stuff. Like, you got me. Like, anything that has to do with vampires, witches, werewolves, I'm watching it. So, of course, I know what a talisman is. So now I go to the website, right? I go from my email to the website. I go on the website, I'm looking at all the talismans they got. They really trying to make them shits look like talismans. And like I said, I don't know about y'all, but I know what one look like, right? Because, you know, this is the stuff that I watch. And not only do they got talismans, though, they got, like, writing on the back of it that's in, like, the Latin language. And basically, it's nothing bad, but it's basically, like, it's in the Latin language or whatever, but then they translating it to English or whatever. My whole thing is, Pandora, I was on y'all side. I swear I rolled so hard for y'all because I'm just such a Pandora girl. But I don't think you beating these allegations no more after this one. I don't think you're beating these talismans. Yeah? I really don't think y'all beating the allegations no more. And it's just like, damn, bruh. Damn, because I'm a Pandora girl, but damn.
I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know what a talisman is. I'm going to have to go look at that. Spam it up if y'all know. And elaborate, enlighten whoever else who don't know in the comments. Let them know. Yeah, I'm lost on that. I'm going to have to go check it out, though. Again, let me know. But who shops at Pandora? Spam it up. Will you still be? Will you not? Will you be looking deeper into this? How you feel?
They never wanted you to know this. There are two forces walking Earth. 9 Ether, the original, born from the sun, aligned with source. And 6 Ether, the grafted illusion, disconnected, surviving only off of feeding on your energy. Look closely. 9 Ether creates, regenerates, and rules in truth. 6 Ether deceives, manipulates, rules through falsehood. History runs in cycles. 9 Ether ruled first, then 6 Ether took over for 6,000 years through slavery, colonization, and technology. But their time is ending. The cycle is closing. That's why you're seeing so much chaos. That's why your energy feels under attack. They know once 9 Ether remembers who they are, the illusion collapses. But here's the truth. You don't need permission. The power is already inside of you. The question is, will you activate it? Comment, I am 9 Ether, to claim it. Then join my Telegram group through the link in the bio. The arc is open. Step inside.
Y'all want to hear some scary shit? This next story took place in San Antonio, Texas, again at the Martin Luther King Bridge. Y'all see that bus stop right there? Yeah, that one. So this story has 3 characters, Honey, T-Row, and RJ. The names have been changed of a couple of the characters for privacy purposes. So Honey was sitting at this bus stop, and RJ's best friend, T-Row, came by in a blue Buick. Now, Honey and T-Row had some history. T-Row was RJ's best friend. RJ is Honey's cousin. T-Row and RJ were always into shit, and if anybody knows San Antonio in the early 90s, y'all will know it was a hot ass mess. I'm talking violent as hell. Anyways, Terrell thought Honey was the most beautiful creature he had ever laid his eyes on, and he used to always ask her to marry him. Marry me, marry me, marry me. If you marry me, I will get out the streets. I will stay out of trouble. Terrell got into shit so deep that RJ was begging Honey, please marry my best friend. Like, if he's a good dude, he just always in this stuff. Like, he'll, take care of home if you marry him. And Honey was like, hell no. I ain't gonna do it. So now that y'all got the background, Honey was sitting at this bus stop and Terrell came pulling up in a blue Buick. And he was laughing and smiling like normal, like, hey, I will give you a ride, come on. And she was like, no, I'm not getting in the car with you because you're always in shit. I'm not getting in the car with you. And Terrell was like, man, come on, where you going? She was like, I'm just going down there, but I'm not getting in the car with you. I went on the bus. And he was laughing so hard. And he was like, come on. And she was like, no, I'm not going with you any damn where. I will wait on the bus because I don't want to catch no strays in this car with you. So Terrell takes off that way down the bridge, and Honey looks down at her Jet magazine and looks up because she was like, maybe I do want that ride. And he was gone. Now, that bridge is pretty long, and it was a few seconds in between. She was like, maybe he was just speeding. The next week, Honey was visiting her brother in prison in Three Rivers, Texas. And guess who was there? Terrell's brother also. So Honey says, hey, I seen Terrell last week. He was trying to give me a ride, down the street. I did not get in the car with him. Terrell brother was like, you saw who? She said, I saw Terrell. He was trying to get me to get in the car and take a ride, give me a ride to where I needed to go. And his brother was like, you couldn't have seen him. He got killed a year ago. Say what?
What? I need to hear more of this story. I need to hear more of it. And to anybody where y'all from, y'all bus stops look like that? Bro, ain't no way in hell I'm sitting at the bus. Ours don't look like that. We got a lot of, it's like on the streets, main streets, a lot of the time. So you got a lot of traffic, cameras, all that. Because, yeah, if we had bus stops like that, where you know how many people would be getting snatched up, especially, cameras. Because it's like, bro, out here, they be snatching them left and right. I told y'all already, like, they send them through the triangle. Like, they take them and they be gone. Hit the freeway, they gone. And they do that a lot. So, and they doing that with cameras around here. I wonder what they would do with no cameras if, bus stops look like that out here. Thank God they don't. But that's not, I would think that's kind of, not safe. But let me know. I'm curious if y'all bus stops look like that. That's scary for me to see. Like, damn, I don't think that should be the case.
If I would have went to the airport and asked for a ticket to Nice, France, and the airport agent gave me a ticket to Nice, somewhere all the way in North Africa, they'll have a big problem when I get back to where I came from. So these two girls from Rome went to the airport and asked for a ticket to Nice. I'm guessing when they got to the agent, they was like, yo, let me get a ticket to Nice. And apparently that agent sent their ass all the way to North Africa.
You are going to France? Is that where this is going? Just go for it. Oh my God, Brittany. Just go for it. You have luggage? Yes. What do we do? Wait, we were supposed to go to Nice. We told the guy Nice. Nice. We told them Nice.
Yes, later. After this flight.
It's gonna go to Nice?
You change the plane later in Tunis.
We're gonna have to go change it in Tunis. Okay, we'll just stick. We're just gonna go.
Now, Tunis is the capital of Tunisia in North Africa. That's where they got sent to. But if you want to be technical, the ticket agent is not 100% at blame. Because anytime I travel, anywhere I go, I'm always checking my boarding pass. So you mean to tell me that you get a ticket going to Tunis, not to Nice, not to France. You don't see France on there. You don't see Nice. On the ticket, it states where you're going. You don't see that? You get on a whole flight and get to your destination, and then you're like, I don't supposed to be here. Mind you, they get on this plane, and I'm quite sure they see that it says Tunisian Airlines on the plane. And they're still acting confused like they don't know what's going on. They ask somebody that's sitting next to them or behind them or something like that, are we going to Nice? And the person is like, yeah, we're going to Tunis. And I'm guessing the people that they were speaking to didn't understand exactly what they were saying. So instead of just getting off the plane, they stays on the plane and flies all the way to North Africa, laughing and giggling. No lie, this is some shit you only see in the movies. I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but jump down that rabbit hole. Go to their page and look at this shit unfold. This shit is crazy. I'm out.
Okay. All right. So, just watched the hearing. Obviously, some of you were live whilst we were watching it together. Some takeaways from this. I think that a lot of people expected a nothing burger. The biggest surprise is obviously the MQ-9 Reaper drone footage that Burleson surprised the entire audience with. I didn't know that was coming. I don't think any of my viewers knew that was coming. Sweet Jesus is all I can say on that. And I will be showing a video in here on what that looks like. It's absurd. Absolutely insane.
Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr. Nusatelli, real quick yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay.
I'm done. That footage, according to my viewers that were watching me live, I was told that was being aired live on Fox News. They cut the feed the moment that video went live. They cut the feed from Fox covering this UAP hearing. So that tells you the type of secrecy that's being enforced here. It also basically confirms that there is something that the deep state or these special access programs are hiding from all of us and have been hiding for the past 75 to 80 years. You do with that information what you will. Please run that through AI. Do whatever you want to do to verify what we've just watched there. But as far as I'm concerned, that should concern everyone. A missile bouncing off an object like that, as if it's just a toothpick, is something that concerns everybody, okay? And it just basically shows that we are dealing with some sort of Star Trek, Star Wars type of force field nonsense here that we have just not been privy to.
See, I'm not pressed at all the fact that they going to war with this stuff. I said it like for the last year and a half. I said, bro, I think this 1%, they at war with extraterrestrials. I've been saying that for I don't know how long. And I was like, bro, something, they not seeing eye to eye with something. Just think, when they do, when the 1% does their test here, they make a choice, it comes with a reaction. It comes with a consequence. And I feel like there's other beings on the outside of the ice walls, and it's whatever they're doing over here is disrupting what they got going over there. And I feel like over here, they're thinking that they're too smart. We're thinking we're too ahead of everything. And I feel like that's why we in a rush to build AI to protect us from extraterrestrials. I think that that's their best chance is to beat extraterrestrials with AI. And it kill two birds in one stone. You take our jobs away from us. You switch the whole system that we used to, and you take everything from us, and you make the AI do everything for us and overlook us. I mean, that's what I can see. And I think that maybe they not feeling that. Maybe they like, bro, you supposed to keep the world going how it's typically supposed to go. And they've been here. And I think now they making themselves more evident. And I feel like they've been at war. I really do. I've been saying that for I don't know how long. And I've seen people say that they are the fallen. And I'm like, what do you call the government then? And if the government are at war with them, they wouldn't be, if they were bad and they were bad, they wouldn't be going to war at each other. They would be teaming up. But nah, I'm just saying. And also, that's why I think they would stage Project Blue. That's why I think they would stage it. Because their time is up and they want us to be afraid of them because they know that they really ain't nothing to be afraid of. Really, the people who controlling us right now is the ones to be afraid. I don't know, maybe I'm going too deep. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions.
Nickelodeon documentary Quiet on Set is adults grooming. I do want to start with Nickelodeon in the 90s and how that was grooming. I'm not going to watch that documentary because I literally spent years of my life at like 2 in the morning looking up all of these things about Nickelodeon and child philia and all those things. First of all, everything that's put in front of you is put in front of you for a reason. I heard someone say Dan Schneider is a pockmark which indicates a larger disease. And this is absolutely true, because how would those shows and that content be on TV without the approval of lots of people who are behind it? Now, a lot of us remember thinking that stuff was weird. I'm a little bit too old for the Amanda Bynes show, Victorious and all those things. But it was kind of clear to all of us how odd it was. And we were trained not to say anything because it would make you weird to say something. Also, it was very hard to put your finger on what exactly was weird about it. But this is how narcissists operate. I actually dated a couple of narcissists, sadly. And the things that they do to push your boundaries are actually pretty vile and wild. And they're things that you don't really notice at first. What they were doing with these Nickelodeon shows was sexualizing the child audience that they had in front of them. We're also clearly abusing the children who are on the show. Now you have this documentary about all of it, and it's almost as if they're trying to bring out the most salacious portions and ideas and lay it out flat for us, as if it's kind of not evident in Hollywood that these things are going on. It's very clear to me that that is the currency of being successful in Hollywood, is if you're willing to do these things or not, if you're willing to join the club or not. Now, I think one of the most powerful shows of, and one of the most effective ways to scare someone is to show them that you will harm a child. If I pulled a child out right now and started like grabbing them by the hair and kicking them, you'd be like, well, hold on, what? Because it goes counter to every sort of like intuition that you have as like a normal, well-adjusted human being, right? Now, I'm not even sure if these people in Hollywood even enjoy doing these things. Obviously, in this case, they very much did. But I just want you to think about entering a club and like that being possibly the entrance fee to get in, because it's such a taboo, right? But if you're willing to cross it, you're showing how much you want to be there, how eager you are to be used, basically. And I hope that we're all just taking this moment as a moment to understand like that everything on TV is propaganda. Everything that Hollywood produces is propaganda to sort of like guide you into some direction. And it's been so wildly effective in the society. You can even see from these Nickelodeon shows, now we're living in a world where sexualizing yourself is very normal. It was because it was happening on those shows and being shown to you, and you were being numbed by it slowly but surely. But that was certainly always the agenda. And I think that we all need to like square up and face that fact. Because it's not an accident that we keep seeing all of these famous people like self-destructing, because something is clearly going on over there that's really, really sinister. And anyway, with the documentary, it's like, do we need these salacious details to understand that? When Amanda Bynes was having her like breakdown, it was very obvious to me even then that she had been abused, most likely sexually, because it seemed like she had a break with herself. When someone goes from being one thing to something completely different, it obviously indicates heavy amounts of trauma. And the fact that no one seemed to be trying to help her and she was just discarded. I think this happens a lot. And I think that every single person who you see as a famous person has participated in some level or another of abuse like this, not necessarily with children, maybe amongst one another, but I think the higher you go in the echelon, the more you're expected to do. Like, this is someone openly, this is Nickelodeon openly putting out their secret in front of everyone to sort of make fun of everyone, humiliate all of us. And now they have this documentary out. These men are not even in jail or in prison. They're just out roaming the streets. So like, what is the point of this documentary? Of course, it does bring like a lot of light to the subject, but we've also had so many child stars who have come out and said this. Do we now need the salacious details of it? It seems like it's quite honestly. And to sort of normalize the idea that, yeah, people abuse kids all the time. Like, it's not a big, it's almost like normalization. Like, I personally now have a very hard time watching anything that's coming out of those areas. And every single movie I see, even back from the 80s, I'm from the 80s, I can see all of the things that have been like flushed into my mind that I would never have thought about without a movie or a television show that I consistently watched that like infiltrated me with that idea. Also, I want you to consider what a huge business it is to indoctrinate the youth of a nation. It's setting you up for immense power going forward, and you're planning like what these people will like. You're guiding their behavior. And I think everyone should really wake up to this fact. Like, it's one of the most obvious things. It's one of the easiest things to do. It makes the sort of violence of the society a lot easier if you just normalize things through what people see on TV, what they hear in music, setting the stage for reality. Yeah, I think it's adult grooming, and I think we should all be careful. This movie coming out and us knowing about this doesn't do anything to stop what's actually happening to children that are hurt. In fact, on this app, there is a huge issue with this type of thing. We're all sitting here on it. I'm still on this app and I know what they're doing, what they're allowing. I know we're all very curious, but to be so interested in the details of children being abused, there's actually something very strange about that. And I think people want to know the details because they want to be sure that it happened. But again, it's pretty evident that it's happening. I think we're moving into a reality where we need to stop asking for like explicit evidence of things and just be like, okay, well, this many incidents, and just use like context clues to figure out what's going on in life. Dan Schneider is the agent of a bunch of creepy Hollywood execs in a larger scheme to like control the minds of the youth. I really think we need to start seeing and ostracizing Hollywood because they're just another arm of our oppression, and they're normalizing super sinister things on all levels. I'll leave you with this example. Matt Lauer, remember when he was found out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, not Matt? Like, they normalized us trusting a person like that on purpose.
They found a body in David's car. And yes, that David, you know, the in the back of my mind, I killed you guy, which gives this whole picture a whole nother creepy twisted meaning. But you heard that right. So a decomposing body was found in his 2023 Tesla that's registered to him. They found it in an abandoned parking lot. I'm pretty sure he's on tour right now, but you guys can see.
Found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. There's no immediate information about the identity of the person found inside, but Eyewitness News has learned the 2023 Tesla is registered in Hempstead, Texas to multi-platinum artist and musician David Anthony Burke, known professionally as David. This is video of David performing on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2023. The grim discovery was made after nearby residents complained about a foul odor. Police say the impounded car had been at that lot property on North Mansfield Avenue for a couple of days now. They say the body had been placed inside a bag. We've reached out to David's representatives and are still waiting for.
Once again, he's still out there, so I don't think he's been taken into custody or anything. So we don't know if he's really guilty. A lot of people are saying that he's got to be framed. Somebody had to have set him up. Let me know what you guys think, but I will say this definitely gives some of the lyrics a new meaning, especially some of those photos. In the back of my mind, I killed you. I don't know. They said there were signs, but let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Double tap the stream, click that red plus followers. We're almost at 6 million followers. And any other stories you want me to cover, let me know. I'll cover them.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. Yeah.
We have a massive update on the body that was found decomposing in David's car. And after what we just found out, this is not going to end well for David. So for context, yesterday, a decomposed body was found in the front trunk of a Tesla, which was sitting in a tow lot for about 6 to 7 days. And the car belonged to this guy, and his name is David, where somebody noticed that the car was emitting a stinky, fishy coochie smell. But this is where it gets even more worser. David is a musician that is on tour right now, where he sings the song In the Back of My Mind. Now people are saying that David was set up, as David has been on tour for the past few weeks, and although right now it is looking that David is innocent as he is cooperating with police, as well as he has not canceled any of his future tour dates, but this is where it gets even more insaner. And they found the body in the Tesla. The body was found wrapped in a bag, and that the body is chopped and decomposed so bad that as of now they literally cannot identify who it is. And even more worser for David, Teslas quite literally have cameras throughout the entire car, including the front trunk. David's response so far has been to not cancel his shows. This is all alleged. Do you think David really did it?
Oh man, I hope he getting set up. I hope they ain't real.
You know the artists that used to be famous, but now they work a regular 9-to-5 job and everyone's making fun of them? They were the ones that didn't sell their soul. Yeah. Clock that gag and sip on that tea standing on business.
All right, we're not at war with Russia. We're not at war with China, Venezuela, none of these places. They all in on it. What I want you to do, go look up the Caucasus Mountains and see where that's at. Then I want you to go look up the Khazarian Empire, see where that's at. Then you come back to this video and let me know what you found. They all in on it together. The Slavics, the Tsars, which are the Russians. See, they know what's already here. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. The Great Rising is here. And there's shit you can do about it.
Some things in the mountains, you guys, you cannot convince me otherwise. This is a story time about something that was living in a treehouse outside of a cabin in Big Bear. And this story came from someone named Alexandra, who's going to be tagged if you have any questions. She said in 2010, she, her sister, her mom, her aunt, her cousin, and her grandmother all were going to take a big girls trip to Big Bear. They were all very excited, and they rented this cabin. I don't know what platform they used, but my guess is one of the shared property rental ones, okay? So they pull up. As they're pulling up, the first thing that's unsettling about this cabin is they notice that there is a giant tree house in the tree very close to the actual cabin. And they pull up, it's all boarded up, so they're like, okay, well, it's probably just from whoever used to live here. They unload the car, they go inside. And as they were loading in the house, they noticed that they could hear like noises coming from this tree house. But because it's boarded up from the outside, they're like, okay, well, it's probably just an animal that got in. Don't think too much about it. But as they're in the cabin all night, they keep hearing this sound from outside. It sounds like it's coming from the treehouse, right? So that night, Alexandra, her sister, and her cousin are all sharing one bedroom. Her mom and her aunt were sharing another, and then her grandmother had her own bedroom. As you can imagine, the bedroom is a little bit cramped, so Alexandra is actually sleeping on an air mattress that's backed up against the door. She's about half asleep. I guess she was watching TV, and the door handle starts to turn, and so she turns to look at it, and she expects like her grandmother, her aunt, or her mom to come walking in and tell her to turn off the TV or something, but the door handle just stops, like nobody walks in. So she's just laying there looking at it, and then it starts to turn again, and then the door is pushed open about a third of the way, but nobody comes in. So she's like, Mom? And there's no answer. So she finally gets up, she looks out in the hallway, there's nobody in the hallway, so she peeks in her mom and her aunt's room and then her grandmother's room, and they're all asleep. She goes back in the bedroom where she's sleeping, and her sister and her cousin are also asleep. So she's like, weird. Kind of gave her the creeps, so she ends up just laying back down on the air mattress, pulling the covers over her head, putting her AirPods in, and passing out. That night, she dreams about a little girl with red hair and pigtails, wearing a long white dress with blue bows, running up and down the green staircase in their cabin. Okay, not that weird, kind of creepy, but she's just like, I'm in a new place, probably strange dream. So she wakes up in the morning and she tells her sister about this dream, and her sister's face like goes white. She's like, I literally dreamed the same thing. Did the little girl have freckles? And she's like, she did. She's like, I didn't even mention the freckles to her. They're like, cool, same dream. How do you explain that? But they're determined to make the best of this trip, right? Because they're on a girls' trip and they're going to have fun. So that night they are in the hot tub and everybody's having a great time, and they start hearing noises again coming from the treehouse. And it's like pacing, like definitely two legs, pacing around. Sounds like somebody's walking up above them. Stomping, pacing, like someone is trying to be heard. So they just decide, you know what, screw this, we're going to go inside. So they all go in, they go to sleep. They're trying to sleep at least, and then they hear howling coming from the treehouse. She's like, I don't know what it was, but I've never been so happy to get home in my life, and I think that was haunted. I have always been sensitive to spirits, but I really think something was going on there, so I would love for people to tell me what they think, and like I said, she will be tagged, so let her know if you have thoughts or questions.
You really cannot make this shit up. Here locally in Las Vegas, they saved 10 kids from their freaking teacher's house, okay? Their teacher's home. They saved 10 kids from being trafficked because her husband is in the cartel. Can you imagine just, and they did this in broad daylight, the bust. Broad daylight, videos everywhere, cameras everywhere, not even at nighttime. They were able, and oh my goodness, thankfully they were able to save these kids, but the only thing I can think of is like, how many more before them?
Facts. How many more before them, bro? That's some scary shit right there.
Government banned 27 social media apps yesterday. And of course, we know that started a riot. But think about this. If they could do that, and they did that, think about how many other governments see what just happened. Think about how corrupt these government officials are. Now think to yourself, do you think they'll do that where you're from? It's a possibility. So at least 8 people died yesterday because the Gen Z protesters said, we're not hearing this. You are not banning these social media platforms. Look at the videos. You can see these police are using tear gas, rubber bullets. People are being hurt. But the real question is why would they do something like that? Why would they ban all these social media platforms? The government is saying that they ban these social media apps for hate speech, crimes online, and things of that nature. Think about this. Think about where you're from. Think about how easily that could be us. Nepal basically asked social media apps to develop an algorithm specifically for them so they can control the algorithm. This is definitely something that we need to keep our eye on because this shit don't sound right at all. I'm out.
I have another story for you guys today. This story sits on my mind quite a bit. Like, I think about it when I see evangelical pastors such as Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen, like the abundance preaching of that type of sect of Christianity. And you're wondering, like, where is he going with this? This story is very strange to me. in the sense that it's basically serving both, and it's weird. So I had a staff member, and we were talking about, we were talking about conspiracies maybe, I can't remember exactly what it was. And then we get on religion, and I'm not really someone who's going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is what I believe in, because that's not what I don't think that's appropriate in the workplace. But he goes on, he's telling me his life story, and that's kind of what people do to me. They tell me things, or they give me stories, or they tell me their life stories. And he's sitting there telling me, he's like, yeah, when I was a kid, we used to hang out in kind of the Midtown area in Tulsa. So like, basically where this was located was basically East Sheridan, so like maybe like 41st to like 21st in Sheridan, all the way to basically where Cherry Street is in Tulsa. It's in that area. He never gave me a specific area, but he told me it was in that area. And he always hung out with this kid. And some days he would walk into this kid's house, and his dad was a preacher in this area. And he basically would walk in and he would see crosses, Christian material hanging on the walls. And he started hanging out with this kid more and more. There's another separate story that's a crazy one about them two going into a tunnel and seeing something crazy. I'll probably tell that on another video. It's on the podcast. But he was hanging out with this kid, and he thought something was off. He was kind of into the weird stuff. Like, he was kind of a weird kid growing up, so he understood these things. One day he walked in, and everything was like not Christian. And he was like, looked at his friend. He's like, I thought your dad was a preacher. He says, yeah, he is, but he serves two masters. And I was like, and when he told me this, I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I couldn't believe it as a kid because like he grew up, believing in Christianity, things like that. And he was like, yeah, he basically is able to fund his nighttime preaching with his daytime preaching. To this day, I still think about that because I see Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen in this abundance preaching. And if you look into abundance preaching, you'll see things that I don't think Christianity was meant to be. But I always get weird telling that story. But let me know in the comments if you heard anything like that, or if you got a story to share. Put it in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Man, I swear I learn shit. I learn some new shit every day. Who's ever heard of this? It makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely gonna ride with him, especially with Kenneth Copeland. That's a weird individual. That's a damn reptilian demon. He the devil in human form. He's something, bro. That man's not right. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Abundance preaching. And he said that he serves two? Bro, how? He funds his nighttime preaching from his daytime preaching? If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. So what? He really was on the dark side and he uses the light and pretends to be in the light and funds his dark? That's some real demon. That's some devil shit, bro. That ain't even cool. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. That ain't cool at all. That ain't cool at all, man.
This is a paranormal military story time, and the person who sent this story did not want to give specifics about his unit or his name for obvious reasons. But he said in 2005 he was stationed in Baghdad, and where they were stationed was very close to this government building that had been previously destroyed. Like, it was a brutalist style concrete building with blown out windows and scorch marks all over the building and rebar in all directions. And the locals said that it had something to do with the former Ministry of Trade, but said during the day this building already felt eerie. You would walk close to it and you would get the sense that you were being watched. He said it was like tingles, and all of the guys in his unit would joke about it. But he had the suspicion that actually more people than him were kind of afraid of this building. But night is when it got bad, because he actually said that during one of their first night patrols, they were set up in what he calls an OP, which I looked it up. I think that means observation post. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. He said thermals were up, cameras were rolling, and thermals were running. And everything was standard. Like, they weren't specifically looking at this building, but that compound was within their line of sight. And that's when he sees movement out of the peripheral of his vision on the second floor in one of these blown out windows. And he said he turned to look at it, and it was like a shadow figure standing in this window, and it was darker than the shadows around it, which he didn't even understand how that was possible. He said it was tall, thin, and completely dark. So he calls for eyes on the unknown, and he said he scanned it with his NVG. Google tells me that's night vision goggles. But there's nothing. He switches to thermal, and there's nothing. But then he looks back at the mounted camera feed, and there it is. But it's not alone. There are dozens of them all over this building. He said they were plain as day on the monitor, and they were just walking. They were walking slowly like they were patrolling, but they didn't have any weapons. There was no sound, so they hit the building with their halogen bulbs. And he said the second the light touched them, they all vanished. As soon as they turned the light off, they were back, standing exactly where they were before. And he said this went on for weeks. Like, they didn't know what it was. Like, there was nobody actually in the building, but they were picking something up on this camera feed. He said this freaked out some of the guys so much that they didn't even want to do night duty. He said at this point, it did bother him, but he thought that they were just ghosts or spirits. He said he does believe in that kind of thing, but some of the guys didn't and had no problem taking over some of these night shifts, right? But a month after their station there, he said he woke up one night to what looked like one of these shadow figures standing over him in his sleep, and it was illuminated by the red of the emergency lights. He gasps because he's like, what is standing over me? And then he realizes that the face is morphing, and it is actually one of his bunkmates. He said just to call this person Collins, even though that's not his real name. But even though his face was red lit, he could make out his features. And Collins was leaned over him, shaking him, saying, get up, we have to get out now. And within seconds, a flashbang struck near their position. And there were alarms going off, there was smoke, there were flames starting to engulf the walls. And Collins grabbed him by the arm, yanked him up out of the cot, and dragged him down the hall. He said, I followed his silhouette down the hall to safety outside, even though my ears were ringing and I couldn't see and there was smoke everywhere. And he said, when I got outside, I collapsed on the ground and I coughed so hard, I thought my ribs were going to crack. And he's still on the ground coughing when he hears somebody else yell, Collins is still inside. And a few of them ran back in, and when they carried him out, he couldn't believe what he saw because Collins had unfortunately already passed away in his bed. His body was completely burned. He said it didn't make sense. He was arguing with them. He said, I followed him out. He's the one that woke me up. I followed him outside. They sent him to therapy. They told him it was PTSD, that he had trauma-induced hallucinations. He said the other thing that the VA doesn't believe is before he left their position that night, he happened to look up at the blown-out complex, and he saw Collins standing in one of the blown-out windows with some of the other shadow people that he had been seeing for weeks. He said it's been 20 years. He still thinks about it. He still has. He is diagnosed. He wakes up in the middle of the night sometimes to what feels like a shadow person standing in the corner of his room. He said, I catch myself holding my breath without realizing it. And maybe it is PTSD. But what doesn't make sense is the hours of footage that we had from those mounted cams with those shadow people walking through the lengths of that building. Somebody explained that to me. He said, I don't have access to those tapes, but the guys that I was in the service with that were in my unit, we just don't talk about it. That was a heavy story for some, but I want to be clear that all stories are welcome on Spooky Scary Storytime, so if you have one of your own, feel free to send it. I try to post a new one almost every single day.
Prayers for him going through what he went through. I don't wish that upon nobody. And I don't think he crazy. I just think he saw what he saw, and sometimes it's a gray area in life, and everything ain't always this or that. Some things we just don't understand. Let me know if that's a reach.
Erased from our timeline. Lake of the Ozarks. Now a massive summer destination. With over 3 million visitors each year. They're all just jumping into the water every year, the same water that is documented by the Union Electric and other historical summaries to have approximately 2,800 graves inside of it. Over 60 known cemeteries located in the areas that were flooded. And just like we saw in Turkey in episode 120, I would guess that there are so many more than 2,800 bodies inside that water right now. I would guess that so many giants, just like we saw in Cahokia, as well as other places, so many old world individuals were found in this location and needed to be submerged inside that massive body of water, with 1,121 burial sites being identified with tombstones, meaning there could easily be 1,600 bodies or more. Just like we said, there are many, many more, in my opinion, underneath that lake that were never relocated. And I would bet so many of these people visiting have no idea what's in that water. And I was about to book a trip and go there and maybe take a look around. But I'm glad I just double checked to see how many bodies are in that water before jumping in and having a good time. Glad I know what's under the water now. Someone commenting on the page says, grandmother was born in Lynn Creek, saying who knows how many of his ancestors are still beneath the lake. His parents are buried at Rockdale Cemetery. Probably his grandparents too. So who's ready to jump in? Lake of the Ozarks is no longer just a random pool. It's exposed for what it is a massive destruction site, ruining the old world and a huge burial ground, with possibly thousands of people in the water. All documented, and there is no doubt about it. Music, beer, and parties with the deceased under their feet.
That's messed up, bro. So many mysteries on this earth that they lied about and told us the truth on, or manipulated the truth, switched up the history. They done did so much, bro. It's just more we keep learning. More they done built over. Things they done flooded out. Things they done blown to pieces. It's just a lot, bro. They don't make no sense. Am I reaching? Y'all feel me? We meet each other halfway? Do y'all have another angle? Do y'all want to add on to what I said? Do you disagree, man? Let me know. I appreciate y'all, collective. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7. And this is for entertainment purposes as well. When you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. If you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is, I wish it was smooth 7. But again, hype up this video. Hype up this video. If y'all really rocking with it, y'all really like it, man, hype it up. But I hope y'all enjoying the rest of y'all day. But until I see y'all in the next one, y'all know what it is. We gone.
Ay, yeah, I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You probably know